So it is Sunday evening, and we have about one more week in Albania, which feels like it's gone by really fast. It's been a really good time here. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, but it's been in a different way. I've been pretty surprised as I've been going on. I think there's this expectation of whenever you travel, like, what do you see? And every second is going to be great, and it's so cool, and all the culture, and that's true. Like, I've seen a lot of really neat things, and the culture is really interesting, and I've loved that. I haven't minded the language barrier most of the time, because we've had really great translators, and I feel like I've just been not as much, oh, you're on the world race and doing this 11-month mission thing. It's more like, nope, today I'm living in Albania, and I'll go have breakfast, and then we'll pray together, and then I'll see what needs to be done today, and I'll do that with my team and with our Albanian friends here. So it really does feel like we've made Albanian friends here. We've been so welcomed, and it's been just really nice. But it's been just different than I expected, I think. I've cared less about some of the cultural things, and maybe this is because I'm not here as like a tourist. I'm not here primarily as a traveler. Like, I'm here to serve, which sounds honestly kind of cheesy sometimes, but realistically I'm thinking, okay, how can I serve this country, these people, and encourage them and give them a boost? So that's been some of my thoughts. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about today, because it was pretty cool, and I'm celebrating today. So the church has been talking about and having a message series, I guess, on what is the church. So one, it was like the history of the church and why the church is beautiful. Jenna just came in. Hi, Jenna. I'm filming myself.
Do you boil the water before you put the lentils in, or after you put the...
Boil the lentils with the water.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Important question. So they've been having this series about the church and why the church is beautiful, and last week one of my teammates, Jenna, taught on basically what it looks like to give your whole heart to God, recognizing that before we do anything as the church, that first we just receive the love of God. So I think maybe last Sunday, I just really was already starting to get some stuff from the Lord about what the message needed to be for this week, and so I just said, hey, if there's nobody else who's really burning on the inside, that's how it feels for me when I get stuff from the Lord. Nobody else is burning on the inside. I'd really love to teach next week, and they said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I've been preparing this message, and each time I do, it feels like the Lord's just lit a match in me, which has been really exciting. So this morning, I got to share. It was the first time I've ever preached, and it went really well. I think I had a whole lot of people praying for me, which really helped, but I didn't feel super nervous, really. It felt pretty significant. Like, God really cares about these people here, and He has things to say to them. So it wasn't really about me. It was simply, these people need to hear this, and the Lord happens to be showing me. So I spent time talking to them about what it is to be the church, what our role is on the face of the earth, and functionally that we are to find any place that does not look like the kingdom of God and transform it into the kingdom of God. We do this by looking more like God as we love Him and releasing the kingdom of God that's inside of us, outside of us. And I really challenged the church. I was pretty surprised, but I felt like that was the Lord leading. So I was even just saying, like, do you have neighbors? Have your neighbors heard the gospel? Are you praying for them? And just talking about making disciples as you go. So it really felt like a message of fire this morning. It was intense. It was a pretty serious message. Not harsh, but like, guys, we aren't just here just playing around. This isn't. You did not sign up for a spectator religion. This is participation. This is not just up to the pastor or the teacher. God has put the kingdom inside of you and wants to release it out through you. So that was kind of what I was planning on teaching on again tonight, when we went to they have a different church in the village. But I'd been asking the Lord. I knew that it would be a little bit different, and I felt like they needed a lot less of the technical stuff and just a shorter message. When I got to the church night, I was just sitting there, just kind of hanging out, and a man walks in who's just like chugging a beer. I think, Interesting. Okay. But he wasn't like trying to hide it. There wasn't shame. So I thought, okay, I wonder if he's just here because he heard music, or this is just like slightly less hot than sitting out in the sun. But let's be honest, it's hot. I'm just sweating all the time. So I just started praying for him. My spirit, we start worshiping, and as we're worshiping, Holy Spirit's like, hey Nat, these people don't really need to hear the same message that you gave this morning. I'm like, okay, Lord. And so he led me to he's like, go ahead and just share the gospel in very simple language. So that's what I did. I looked up Ephesians for about 30 seconds before I got up to start preaching, and I just shared who Jesus is and why we need him, and that there's no way, that there's only one true God, and that Jesus is the only way for that God, that we are in full need of a full body transplant, mind, heart, soul, spirit, everything, and Jesus is the only one that can give that to us, that there's no other way for us to be healed and whole, and that this is what we are created for as humans. That's what I shared and just read out of Ephesians, and it was surprisingly not hard. Before I started, I prayed, Lord, you want to speak to your people. I ask that your message would come forth, that you would fill my mouth with your words. And that was not just like here's the theologically correct prayer to say before you preach. I really didn't have a backup plan, but I sensed that the Lord wanted to share the gospel in very clear terms. So that's what I did, and shared some out of Ephesians and a little bit out of 1 John, which is great. I love Ephesians. God made you so that he could pour out his loving kindness on you. Amazing. It's really great. So I'm celebrating those things. We'll have some team time later tonight, and we're starting up our last week in Albania. Our schedule is like pretty jam-packed, so we'll be talking tonight as a team of how to prioritize rest and prioritize spending time with the Lord and being full as we go into these things, that we wouldn't just end up totally drained and exhausted by the end of this week, but that we would enjoy the abundant life that Jesus offers us as we serve and give of ourselves. So it's been a really good day. I've loved my time in Albania, and I'm still here. We're still here. So even though we are only here for a few more days, we are still 100% here. So thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll have more updates soon. I will talk to you later. God bless you.